Welcome, welcome, brothers and sisters. As always, we open our meetings in prayer, so if you'd like to rise. Attention prayer. Surely I'm being to them, striving to be upright to him, who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not from among the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of all the world. No associate has he, and of this I am commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King. There is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and do confess my faults to thee. So grant me protection against my faults, as none can grant protection against faults but thee. And guide me to the best of morals, as none can guide to the best of morals but thee. And turn from me to evil and indecent morals, as none can turn from me to evil and indecent morals but thee. O Allah, bless Muhammad, and bless the true followers of Muhammad, as thou did bless Abraham, and the true followers of Abraham. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and make the true followers of Muhammad successful, as thou did make Abraham, and the true followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praiseworthy and magnified, here in our midst forevermore. Ameen. Ameen. Please be seated, family. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever. We give him thanks and we give him praise for raising up from among us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we give Allah thanks and praise for the many giants that came up under Elijah's teachings, and a very special man left here in our midst today in the person of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And it's in that line of divine, I'd like to greet you all, my brothers and my sisters, in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a beautiful day. It's a new day, brothers and sisters. You know, and when you have life, you are blessed with life. When I say in my prayer is, you know, I thank Allah for life today and its blessings, and the fact that I can see, hear, touch, taste, smell. My internal, external organs are functioning, you know. And, you know, we don't take nothing for granted today. It's a serious hour, you know. I'm hearing all, you know, people, Allah just taking people back to himself. All of a sudden, I'm like, how old was that brother? How old was that sister? What was wrong with them? But Allah, we have to literally justify our existence today, brothers and sisters. And the God is looking for the right material to build his kingdom. So, the nation are always working, always found working, always busy in ourselves. And yesterday was no exception. This weekend we went up to Birmingham, where we went to take care of our business and in this community question time that is being taken on the road now. You know, the last one was in London, yesterday it was in Birmingham, and we're going to take it to various other places too, along with our other programs. So this is what we're about. We go wherever our people are, and we uplift and we empower them to get up and do something for themselves. Is that right? Yes, sir. That's our mission. Our mission is to raise the lost found, raise the dead, and deliver them to the Lamb of God. So yesterday we had a great time, and we had an illustrious panel of brothers and sisters from our community, not least the great Paul Abina, who, you know, came with his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and then on the back of that came our great warrior sister Cheryl Phoenix. You know, so we thank Allah, you know, the way they just on their, you know, they ignite the audience and with what they have to share, and it was just so beautiful to see how that blended and just created such a wonderful spirit. You know, we talked about the issues, and whilst that's important, the solutions are even more important. Is that right? Yes. So we talked about the issues, and we talked about what was needed, and we talked about the plight of our children in these institutions and the things that they're being subjected to, and the sort of mental and emotional turmoil and the torment, that some of them are being experiencing, given, the lack of love that there is in these institutions for them. Even when there are teachers who look like them, it's the mindset, be with me, that is lacking. Yes, sir. So, there's a saying, not every skin folk is kinfolk. And when you've come out of teacher training college with a certain kind of programming, it's you could be so far removed from the cultural aspects of who you're supposed to identify with. And our children are looking to teachers, for solace and for guidance, and understanding. And often they're not getting it because we're just not stepping up to the mark in the way that we should be. So the solutions was also, a lot of what came up was about homeschooling, for example. You can do that at home. A brother was sharing with me that legally, it's one thing to take your child to school, but it's not actually a legal requirement, is it? You can homeschool your child. However, when you do put your child in the school, you've entered into a contract. And the problem is, we don't read the terms and conditions and the small print. And that's how they get us. But if we just took the time and read what we're actually signing our children up to, and ourselves as the adults, we would get a lot better service. Because remember, it's an education service. Yes, it's a service. When you go into a restaurant, you're being served. You're with me? If there's a fly in your soup, you're with me? The waiter bends over backwards. You're with me? To make sure that it never happens again. And, we should demand the same quality service of the education system. I mean, we pay through our taxes. You know what I mean? So we are entitled. We're not begging them anything. We've already paid. So we really must understand that the system is ours if we are not ignorant of what it is we are exposing ourselves and our children to. And so we must get clued up. And there was a term used yesterday called proactive parenting. It's not enough to just roll up outside your school, your child's school every morning, open the doors, wave them goodbye, and then go off to work. You're with me? You've really got to understand where it is they're going, what's happening in that time that they're not in your presence, and that you deprogram them at the end of the day by finding out what they experienced, what they were being given to learn, and how they're feeling at the end of the day. Because a lot of the abuse is very subtle. You with me? It's slight comments, sarcastic comments. Sometimes it's just being ignored in the classroom. The teachers are not engaging with the children in any way, shape, or form. So we have to remember that these are critical times, brothers and sisters, and if we understand that our children are our future, then we must guard and protect and safeguard, the minds, hearts, and spirits of our children. It's not a joke thing. They are our future, and we can't allow our open enemy, the children of our former slave masters, to be playing with our future in that way. You with me? Exclusion, isolation, rejection, excuse me? No. And we cannot allow that to be the end product. After paying taxes, that's what we're coming away with. No. So yesterday the panel really did, as I said, ignite the audience, and we had a great time. We came up with solutions. So I just want to list, because I don't have a lot of time, I just want to list some of the things that we came up with. And, I've mentioned homeschooling. There was the importance of Saturday schools. There's online groups you can form and join on Facebook and other platforms. There's community schools, there's supplementary education, and of course, there's NOI programs. I flagged up the fact that we've got, girls groups going. Sister Michelle is taking care of the Girls with Goals workshops. and I was saying to some of the sisters we met up there while networking at the end that, we're looking to bring that to other parts of the UK, including Birmingham. Right. So, Minister flagged it up recently that what Sister is doing is great work. So let's give her a round of applause. And that's right. And the brothers are doing it for the boys too. We've got our event next week. Is that right, FOI? So yeah, let's go and save our sons and we save our daughters, yes? And then when we're seen to be doing that by the community, they will be willing to join on. Is that right? Yes, sir. So in addition to that, there's the Black Child Agenda. But ultimately, as I was reflecting, the nation gives us so much information, so much knowledge and wisdom, that each and every one of us is a course of study. We are a school. You with me? So when we're engaging our people, you with me, and we're pouring ourselves out and we're sharing what we know, we're teachers, we're educators. You with me? Wherever we are, wherever we go. And it just came home to me how important that was. That's why Brother Minister says we mustn't allow a day to go past and we're not talking to people about what it is we know and what we've been taught by the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Is that right? Yes. So let's be the tutors, let's be the headmaster, let's be whatever we want, but let's be found educating our people in whatever way, shape or form. We've got everything. We've got the mathematical theology. We've got the geography. We know the area of the land and water of the planet Earth. Is that right? Go ahead. We know the land is 57,255,000 square miles. Is that right? Yes, sir. We know the weight of the planet. Come on now. Who brought that information? And when you start sharing that kind of information, it elevates people. It blows their mind, not in a sort of negative way, but they're like, whoa, where did that come from? So don't be shy, brothers and sisters. Let's step up and be proud and be boastful, because all of that is about feeding ourselves in terms of our sense of worth, our self-value and our own self-esteem. When you see the impact that teaching is having on the mind and you see the face get lit, you know what I'm saying? It raises you and it raises them. So teaching is a big thing, and let's be found teaching. So I wanted to just say, before I close out, that the man who sent me to Birmingham, is none other than our beautiful brother, Student Minister Abdul-Hakeem Mohammed. And I just wanted to acknowledge and thank him. And, I'm looking forward to his featured message today. And I want us also to give him a round of applause for his great work and lifting the standard and flying it so high, and we go in, we walk in his light, in truth, although we've got to create our own. But, I do want to acknowledge that brother because he is such a great man and the respect he has is unmatched. So without any further ado, I just want to say thank you all for listening. Thank you, sir. The work continues, and let's be educators and teachers of our community. Yes, without exception. Everyone in this room, yes, and everybody in the listening audience. If you know this teaching, share it with someone because it's life-giving, and in it is light, life, and power. Yes, sir. And on that note, I'm going to bring up to the rostrum our beautiful sister, teacher in the ministry, the assistant to Minister Abdul-Hakeem, Sister Maxine Mohammed. Assalamu alaikum.
In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all holy praises are due forever. I am eternally grateful to Allah for his coming, for seeking and finding and raising one from among us who we know as the most honourable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ, the Mahdi. We thank Allah for the most honourable Elijah Muhammad, but we would be remiss, dear brothers and sisters, if we did not acknowledge the man that is in our midst today, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is an extension of them both, our leader, teacher and guide, the Messiah in our midst. I greet my sisters in the greeting words of peace and paradise, and my brothers, Assalamu alaikum. So once again, just in preparing to come to this space today, it's always a consummate moment, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you're blessed to see another day, particularly in a world like this. You know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote in The Fall of America that never since the creation of Adam and Eve has there been such chaotic times as we are witnessing today, with the worst yet to come. You know, we were, or let me just say this first, that it appears that evil and wickedness is accepted in this world, you know, and justice, as it says in the book of Isaiah, stands afar off, and equity cannot come in. It is evident that the leaders of this world are hell-bent on taking the world to hell with them. So what choice do we have? We have no choice in the leadership that is being presented in this world. No matter what country you look at, the leaders are bereft of any right guidance that they can give to humanity. So it becomes imperative for us, if we are taking our lives seriously, to listen to the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. People want to relegate the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan to being a good speaker. He is so much more than that. You know, we were out yesterday with some sisters, and an Arab brother, a Muslim brother, you know, he greeted us, we greeted him. You know, we were walking past and he wanted to know, it's like, who are you? Who are you? We are followers of the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We are members of the Nation of Islam. So, you know, we said to the brother, tell us a little bit about yourself. So he told us a little bit about himself. And I said, are you familiar with the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan? And he said yes. He said yes. I was like, what are your thoughts about the minister? And his thought was, he said that Islam is for everyone. So in saying that, as a black person, you know, and how the Master Father Muhammad, the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad, gave us an approach to Islam in the West is yet to be understood by many of our fellow Muslims. We are not where we were in 1930 when Master Fard Muhammad made himself known. When we count from 1930 to 2024, we are 94 years from the coming of Master Fard Muhammad. The 94th surah chapter in the Holy Quran is called the Expansion. And we know that the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan has expanded the message of the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad and the universality of Islam to the whole world. All praises are due to Allah. So we said to our brother, and he is our brother, but many of our people in Islam are misguided when it comes to the Nation of Islam. And we have to make it plain to them, you know, that we are not where we were. And look at the back of the final call, because clearly it says in there, we want justice for all, regardless of creed, class, or colour. And, you know, we said to the brother that we have family in Serbia, you know, Caucasian family in Serbia who follow the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan and are registered members of the Nation of Islam. We in the European region, we do not speak a baby language when it comes to Islam, and how it applies. This is from the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, where he opened a door, and he has been opening that door, ever since he took up, the mantle of the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad and sat in his seat. He's been opening the door, for the world to accept the teachings of the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad and come into the truth of the reality of God and his presence in the world today. And in 2020, when the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan delivered the criterion, he opened that door wider, given an opportunity for all to accept the truth, turn from our wicked ways, and come under the guidance of the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad through the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is our leader, teacher and guide for those who are willing to accept him. This Holy Quran is for everybody. However, it is only for those who accept it. If something is for you and you accept it, then you own it. And we can be made like it if we follow the guidance that is contained therein. So we find ourselves in the European region in a very unique position. Our brother Abdul-Hakeem Muhammad, who is the minister's representative, was given his appointment by the minister for the European region. Many countries in the European region, most of the European region is made up of Caucasian people. The minister said years ago that he would give a message, that he desired to give a message to Caucasian people. And when we listen to our brother as a student of the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, let me just say this before I say that, what's in my mind to say. We teach the universality of Islam, but we're not forgetting where we come from. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, we're black people in the West, and we've been through a hell of a condition and trial. We did not come here by choice. Do you understand? So we're not forgetting our root. We're not forgetting, where we met the minister, and how we accepted the message, as black people. And we are now evolving. As the minister has evolved the message, we are evolving with the minister. Okay, so I hope I can pick up my point again. The uniqueness of our position here in the European region, and our student regional minister being given countries to give, and the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan saying at one point, I can't remember which year it was, but he wanted to give a message to Caucasian people. We know that our Saviour, Master Father Muhammad, was born of both people. And, we in Europe, his mother came from the Caucasus region, which is parts of Russia and Southeast Europe, okay? So we don't negate that. We don't negate that. And it's a blessing. It really is a blessing, to receive this teaching where we are, because in our supreme wisdom, it says that righteousness is in every part of the earth. And wickedness must now be removed in every part of the earth. And, you know, we talk about the planet, but first it's us.
Yes.
It has to be removed from us.
Yes.
And once it is removed from us, and as we are going through a process of reformation and removing that which is not of help to us, and the negativity and the evil, you know, by circumstances that we have been subjected to, then simultaneously, you know, we go after our people, because we're showing them that we are coming from the same condition that many of our people are still in, trying to get out of, as we are trying to clean up ourselves. So we're no different. We're no different. You know, we speak the language of the people. You know, we relate to them, because we know where we're coming from, and we know what has been done to us. You know, and when it comes to us as women, oh my God, the minister, there is no one that teaches the value of the woman like the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Absolutely no one. And the minister, in teaching us our value as sisters and the power of us as women, you know, to determine and shape the future of our nation, it comes through the female. So we say to our sisters, we love our sisters no matter what condition that you are in. The Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that there is no such thing as a no good woman. A woman has been made no good by a no good man. A man who is ignorant and does not have the Spirit of God. Because when a woman meets a man that has the Spirit of God in him, that man is irresistible. Irresistible. All praises are due to Allah. And the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a man that is possessed with the Spirit of God. With the Spirit of God. And he is making men, and he is making women. So brothers and sisters, we're at war today. We're at war today. And we were saying to the sisters yesterday, you know, that when you look at the word wardrobe, you have war and you have drobe. And in the word drobe is the word robe. When you go to the root of the word wardrobe, it's a closet where you put things for protection. Our garments are a protection for the divine essence of God that is in the female. It is also a declaration of war, that we have a new ruler. We are not governed by the rulers of this world. Okay, so this garment is also, it's interesting, because when you see the MGT, when our brothers see the MGT and we're out in the community, we're always a sight for eyes that want to see the woman covered, because we always get complimented. Always. When our brothers and others see us, particularly the black man, when they see us, we speak to the nature of that man. Without even saying a word, we penetrate him, you know, to the core of his being, because really and truly he wants to see his woman like us. He wants to see his woman like us. You know, and brothers, if you want to see your woman like us, tell your woman to cover. Tell her to cover. If you learn your nature, brother, and you learn the value of the woman, then you will tell your women to cover. And the way that you tell her, because you love her, man, she can't resist you, brother. She won't. She won't. So we're in a very powerful day today. We're in a very powerful day today because we have the presence of the most Honourable Elijah Muhammad through the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Don't resist him, brothers and sisters. Come to that which is your own. Accept your own and be yourself. And come and let us build a nation. With those words, brothers and sisters, please welcome our Student Regional Minister, Brother Abdul-Hakeem Muhammad, the representative of the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you so much. Please be seated, everybody. In the most holy name of Allah, who is indeed the beneficent, the most merciful, the master of this day of judgment and resurrection in which we have entered, to him alone do we serve, and to him alone do we beseech for aid and for his assistance. And we beg him that he will guide us on his straight path, the path of those upon whom he has bestowed favors over the ages, and not the path of those upon whom his wrath has been brought down, whom we are surrounded by, nor of those who go astray, whom we are surrounded by. We thank Allah for his divine merciful intervention in our affairs, for coming to us in the divine holy person of one Master W. Farad Muhammad, who we see as the divine supreme being, and we really don't care who doesn't see him the way how we see him. If I'm perfectly honest with you, we really don't care if others don't see him the way how we see him, because others clearly couldn't see our miserable condition and clearly didn't see the urgency of the need of an intervention in our affairs. So we thank one who did see us groping, see us in our miserable condition, and traveled 9,000 miles to seek and to save that which was lost. We thank him for not just seeking and saving us, but for making one among us an exemplar of his love for us, one whose heart was synonymous with his heart, one who would not give up regardless to how stiff-necked, hard-hearted and rebellious we would be as a people, and a people who would plot against the man who was trying to save them morning, evening, noon, and night. We thank Allah for such a wise man that he could even use the government agents that the enemy sent in amongst us in the nation of Islam and put them to work in very salient positions. We thank Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, a master among us, a God among us, a reflection of God who was among us for over 44 years. And we can never thank Allah for the extension of his caliphship, if you will, his role amongst us, the extension of that role through a man who would be so magnificent that, you do yourself an injustice trying to understand him. You're better off trying to appreciate him. It's a better use of your time. And if we can just appreciate the man who is among us, then if it pleases Allah, we will grow into understanding his importance. I could never thank Allah for the man who changed my life through a word. Didn't even get a chance to see who was talking to me, but just through his words. It was so impactful that it gave me an opportunity to come into a whole different world of existence known as spirituality. We thank Allah for the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who I knew was more than a minister, was more than a national representative, was more than a man who just loved us, but really was and is the promised Messiah, the last voice that the world will hear prior to the destruction of this wicked world that we have been birthed into and shaped and molded by. We thank Allah for giving us a conquering lion of the tribe of Shabazz. We thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and can never thank Allah for him enough. It gives me pleasure to greet you in the greeting words of peace in the ancient Arabic language of our fathers of Assalamu alaikum. Which simply translates to mean peace be unto you. How is everybody today? Praise be to Allah. We thank Sister Maxine for her words and Brother Wayne Muhammad for his words. And I must just say, Allah has blessed some of you with great spirit to teach and to share what you know. And when you're given an opportunity to share what you know, don't shrink. Don't be apprehensive. Don't have mixed feelings. And don't enter into controversy. Take the opportunity to do something of the highest calling with your life. So when I ask you to speak, speak. Don't give me excuses. Speak. Because your life ain't worth nothing to God if you don't put him first. And you don't sometimes understand who he's trying you through. Sometimes, you look at people and you don't fully understand that everybody is God. Developed or underdeveloped. Trivial or consequential. But everybody is God. Children of the Most High God. So when human beings speak and act, God is speaking and God is acting. And ultimately, everything that everybody does leads us towards the ultimate purpose of the divine supreme being. You can't get out of his mind. And if we can't get out of his mind, then everything we do contributes to his ultimate objective. Yesterday I watched a boxing match. And I was invited to go and watch it. And the great event was sponsored by the Saudi government. Imagine that. And they so much want to be accepted by the West that they're trying to break into the West through boxing, sport, and play. That's enough. So, you go to the boxing, everything is Saudi success, come to Saudi. No one ain't inviting anybody to Islam, but you're being invited to go to Saudi Arabia. Not for Islamic purposes, because you're sponsoring an event that beer is so freely accessible and all kind of madness that what is your real objective and purpose? That's right. Good question. Your brothers are being killed on your doorstep. That's right. And you ain't sending no aid over there. But you got time and money to come to England to promote boxing. Something to consider. Are you following me? Yes, sir. You might not want to consider it, but I'm going to consider it. Yes, sir. Because as I looked, and I was on the floor, and I looked around Wembley Stadium, 96,000 people. It's a lot of people. And you're sponsoring it as the guardians of the sacred mosque in Mecca, but no mention of Islam. And then when you mention something righteous, you sing the national anthem of Saudi Arabia, but you recite it in Arabic. where no one can understand you. Now, the master of what the Islamic world calls dawah, or teaching the principles of the faith, is such that if you want to hear a master of how to communicate with the West, Islam, you have to become a student of the Messiah, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Because when the national anthem was being sung, the 96,000 Brits booed it.
Imagine that.
Booed it.
It's enough.
And then after that national anthem came, how you doing, brother? Walaikum salam. After the booing of such, then the national anthem of the United Kingdom was sung. Everybody stood to their feet. Who's British? God save our king. That's what the Brits want to hear in Britain. They don't want to hear your national anthem. They want to hear theirs. And if you're going to share the beauty of yours, don't share it in a foreign language. Share it in the language of the people who are around you. You following me? When I looked at this, how are you going to try and introduce people to Islam in an environment when Noel Gallagher has just sung?
I know. Good question.
If Noel Gallagher has just sung 3 songs and most in attendance sung along with him, don't bring an Islamic national anthem in that environment. People with beer in their hand. It's not appropriate.
No, sir.
Just go and watch the fight and go home.
That's right.
That's not the place to get out your prayer mat.
No, sir.
That's not the place to make a dua.
No, sir.
That's the place to watch boxing. And if those who are there, they have the attitude of, I'm either going to win money or I'm going to lose money. Because most people have put a bet on.
That's right.
So it's a total un-Islamic environment.
That's right.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So you as a Muslim can't sponsor such.
No, sir.
And if you use, and I looked around and saw, man, if this type of money that was available to sponsor this fight was put at the disposal of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan to teach Islam, to teach truth, how quickly could we take the planet? Like the planet is takeable.
Yes, sir.
You're not hearing me.
Yes, sir.
Because you can't be happy singing rubbish and getting drunk and getting high. That doesn't lead to happiness. That leads to a hangover.
That's right. Tell him.
And puts you in a state where you can't worship God or access your creative power.
Tell them.
And whatever will disable you from accessing the power of your being is not good for you. So I looked at it and looked around and said, my God, the people want the truth, but they're not going to accept it unless it's properly packaged.
That's right.
So when Allah God sends a man to teach a world as off as this one that we're in, that man's got to be extraordinary. And this is why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is misunderstood, because he is so extraordinary.
That's right. Different.
You cannot be like the people if you're going to have a positive effect on the people.
That's right.
Because science will tell us the nature of attraction is you must deal with opposites. man in his natural form, natural mind, he's opposite, or he's attracted to the opposite sex.
Tell him.
That's why we separate the sexes when we're trying to teach. Because how can you pay attention to what I'm saying if sister's leg is brushing up on yours?
Listen now. Listen.
Unless you're unnatural.
Come on. Tell it.
Then you might move your leg. But most of us ain't moving our leg. Everybody all right? When you're natural. Because to us, that's a sign. And God, he insists that we learn to pick up on signs. Read the signs. Some of us can't read written signs, but we can read, other kinds of signs. Everybody all right? Signals, yeah. It's very real. So I remember when I was blessed to first hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I wasn't looking for religion. It's like God just kind of, I wouldn't say trick you in, but maneuver you into places where you're just like confined. I'm going to buy a drawer of weed with a man. He's going to take long in the weed house. He puts in a tape. That's not music.
No, sir.
This is different. This is different.
Yes, sir.
He puts in the tape of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. This is different. It's different. It's like some of you say, I don't listen to classical music. It's different.
That's right.
When you first hear some Beethoven or some, one of the great Bach or whatnot, it's different. Mozart, it's different. And it's an acquired sound. It's refined. There are some things you can't do to it. You wouldn't go jogging to classical music. It's not invigorating enough. You following me? You might cook to it. You might iron to it. But you're not going to try to have a good workout to it. Right? Is that fair comment? If you want to go to sleep, that's what you play. If you want to get motivated in the morning, Shabba Ranks. No. Shabba will get you up. Shabba, you up. Yeah. So the God will maneuver you. And then he will maneuver you into patterns where the same thing just starts happening in different ways, but it's all leading to the same conclusion.
Come on.
When I was blessed to hear the minister's voice, it was just words coming through speakers. But it was so impactful that it wasn't an ordinary voice. It wasn't the sound of my mother. It wasn't the sound of my father. It wasn't the sound of formal educators. It was the voice of God. And it struck me at my core. And when I looked yesterday at all of these people, I realized, hey, I realized everybody can be reached. It's like you were speaking earlier. And for anybody to desire to be right in a world like this, you have taken on Goliath. So when you read about Samson or David slewing, who did he slay? Goliath. Who am I thinking of when Samson? No, but he fought against the Philistines, right? Delilah was hard work. He got slayed. He got slayed. He got slayed. And it shows us, brothers, that when you're intimate with a woman, you can't help but share your secrets. You can't. You called it a one-night stand, but you're there talking about like your biggest problem. And child, you know, you're going into your life with someone you just met. Because the nature of the union of intimacy is you must engage only with those who you are intimate with. Intimate secrecy. Intimate confidence. There's something about you that you know when you go down that road, you're supposed to be relaxed. You're supposed to be free, not on your guard. Imagine you got to have a relationship with a woman and be on your guard. This is not what I came out here to talk about. The complete opposite. When you have to be on your guard, that is a sign that we're out of sources. And it's the same when you have to be on your guard, that you can't even share your problems with a man who you're sleeping with. Man, I'm having problems in this area and that area. What, you with me for my money? So you could be living in a cardboard box and think that someone's going to judge you because you need some help. That's sad, isn't it? Because we should naturally want to empower you. Because if you're in problems, our future is gone. You with me? We got to be the ones to sleep in the car and give you the bed. I can't get no witness on that. Brother's saying the bed is mine. So I believe if our Saudi brothers and others who have all this oil wealth was to invest in the Messiah, we could bring forth a better quality of human being almost overnight. When I looked at the amount of money that went into putting on that fight last night, the amount of advertisement on all of the national radio and television stations, when I looked at this and then looked at Saviour's Day, if we had similar monies, we could have the Honorable Louis Farrakhan speaking in Yankee Stadium or wherever the biggest stadium is in America, and his image and his words will be broadcast all over the planet. And the following day, we would have a greater calm on planet Earth. What I saw yesterday was this is doable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The resurrection and rise of the people is doable. But the forces that are against the man of God are, you need a good word to describe it. They are formidable and they are extremely global in their hatred of the truth.
That's right.
Global. So we don't just call Satan or Shaitan Shaitan. He's global Shaitan.
That's right.
Meaning everywhere you go and you try to do good, he's there to oppose you.
That's right.
He'll meet you at the airport.
Yes, sir.
Imagine that.
He'll turn up at your door.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And just like our brothers in Lebanon found out this week, that if you think you can fight the devil with his weapons, then again, you need to go back over message to the black man.
That's right.
You need to go over the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made it clear to us in the 30s, put down the devil's weapons. Because wherever he gives you access to, He has something far more superior, hence the reason why he's emptying out his factories, emptying out his warehouses, giving you what is now obsolete to him. That's why you see this war in Ukraine. It's just being fought by all of the obsolete weapons that England and America and others have. Go and use them on Russia, but stay within a certain, parameter, but use them. They didn't give no one the best they have. They gave what's now obsolete, because they're in secret comparing themselves with the Chinese. And they know the Chinese have gone supersonic. They know the Japanese are on another level technologically. When it comes to technology and you go to that part of the world, another level. The Koreans on another level. So you can't come with, AK-47s in 2024. So we give those to the Ukrainians. So you can't be in the Middle East and fight America under the guise of Israel and be successful. Because Israel don't have the weapons that are discarded out of the American and the British warehouse. They're a part of the design phase, the technological phase of modern warfare. You imagine when, you can watch these movies with, what's Mr. Stark's name? Tony. And think that this is just like science fiction madness where a man's flying around in a costume and firing off. And then they're having these events where you have pretty much drones. Because he was the only one who was a human inside this thing. But the enemy now, or those who wanted to patent his product, if you will, and manufacture it en masse for negative purposes, they showed that, we're going to learn from what you did and we're going to reproduce it, but we're going to reproduce it in a way that it's not flown by a human being. It's flown by remote control. You saw that. And now you're looking at modern warfare being fought through unmanned drones. But just a few years ago, that was Marvel. That was comical. That was entertainment. But now that's real. And this is what's happening around us. And we're still trying to find where we live after a night out. And this is what's happening around us. Everybody around. I was watching this fight yesterday. There was a man who's trying to take a picture of some display. And he was so drunk, he fell off his chair. I'm like, who can you expect to help you? Obviously not me. But who can you expect to help you when someone already told you, get down? And because you just want a picture of lights, you risk your life because you're inebriated. So you're not seeing things well. All of that in a world where there's wars happening in Europe, wars happening in the Middle East, wars brewing in Asia. Wars are brewing everywhere. And it's not, these kind of conventional wars. It's scientific wars that are on the cusp of going nuclear. Because that's what Russia's saying to the Brits. And they're saying that to America. If you dare allow the Ukrainians to fire into mainland Russia, we are going to use tactical nuclear weapons. And what did the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say to us? That America and Russia will go to war. And it will become nuclear. And China will be in the mix. Can't you see that as clear as day? We're only one day away from it at any given time. And what are we going to be doing? Still trying to find our way home after a night out? It's Time to wake up. I mean, quickly. Speaking about this meeting we had yesterday about expulsions for our school, why are we even still talking about stuff like that? Like, you're going to talk about, the devil expelling us from our school. He's doing us a favor. Like he just helped you by kicking your son out, by kicking your daughter out. I sent all my children to high-paying schools in their secondary stage. They all got expelled from fee-paying schools, apart from the little one. I was like, how do you get kicked out of 2 schools? And her response in Israel, easy. Ain't hard. You think you sending me somewhere where people are good. But the young boys in my school, your children would tell you, they smoke more weed than you could ever imagine. But you don't know that. You think they're good little children. Because the school's private. It's a private nut house. It's a private asylum. You with me? So please, when we're having these events, you have to advise the parents that God is doing you a favor.
That's right. Come on now.
What is happening is the consequence of us not doing something for ourselves when we heard the word of God. Do you understand? It's the consequence. It's a consequence. It really is a consequence. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do in your time, the sins fall on the children. It really does. Because they got nowhere to go. They've got nothing to inherit. Because you were so busy thinking that life was for play. Play to God is not frolicking. Play to God is designing a planet. You got that one over your head. Everything with God is scientific. It's growing, it's developing, it's maturing. It's not senseless. So you can't get children involved and buy them games that are designed for mindless pursuit. And most of the games we give our children, it's just a shut-up toy. The toy should be called Shut Up, man. Shut up. Be quiet. Move from me. Move from me, toy. What are you getting your child for Christmas? Move from me. Shut up and be quiet. That's the new one they got out.
Very good, brother.
And I ain't trying to be funny. But the truth is so damn stark that you have to laugh it off. Because you laugh it off because, I bought some shut-up toys for my children. Whole heap of get out my face toys. Let's go somewhere. Don't want to see you for an hour. Yeah, it's true. It's funny true. So we just got to be honest with ourselves.
Yes, sir.
And really come to terms with the fact that we're going to be held to account for every minute that we wasted after coming into truth. This has its place, coming out and hearing a word being taught. But if it don't lead to nothing afterwards, if it doesn't lead to planning and building, investing in the brotherhood, in the sisterhood, in our people, then you will be required, I'm telling you. I try my best to invest as much as I can. And I can honestly say to the God that I gave the last 30 odd years of my life, not as a bum, as a talented man, gave my talent to my nation. Are you with me? So, dear family, you have to consider the time. Because things are moving so fast that by the time you sleep and wake up in the morning, if you're not a studying man and a studying woman, there is so much that would just go past over your head. Imagine, you're trying to fight a sophisticated set of people like those in Israel. And the very walkie-talkies you're using, the pages you're using, was manufactured by their operatives. They came after you on the manufacturing level. This shows if you use any instrument for negative purposes, God ain't with you. You didn't hear what I said. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, put down all weapons to us. Don't even carry a penknife. Allah is sufficient as a defender. You know what that means? For you to do that, you have to have faith, trust, confidence, and know the power of Allah. That which we refer to as the Islamic world do not know the modern day power of Allah. To know the modern day power of Allah, you have to know the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. You have to. He is the most salient man on our planet who has introduced the world to the power of Allah. My God. We're in the 39th year of the anniversary of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's visit to Allah's seat of power that can destroy Satan in an instant. That which had planned for his destruction before he was even made. Before he was even a thought, the day of his destruction was architected. No silly damn bombs and scuds. Why would you want to use that? The minister spoke on the 25th of February, and he laid out the conflict. What's happening and why it's happening. And if you don't want to respond to what he has said, you're going to suffer the consequences, because he don't speak every week. Because he was given sight of what's happening in the Middle East over 30 or 39 plus years ago. His teacher told him of America planning a war against Muslim nations, primarily the Nation of Islam. And we've seen perpetual wars in the Middle East ever since that time. And everything the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, February the 25th, is unraveling. If he tells us that the Netanyahu government's objective is to take that whole area, it's no accident that the pressure on him to move out of Gaza is now pivoted over towards Lebanon. He's just pivoting because he's the shaitan in that area. So he ain't listening to his people. He ain't listening to no one in Washington. You can't talk to that man because he's moved by a superior force. How are you going to talk to him and he's deciding, those among him is deciding who's going to be the next president of the United States of America? You can't say nothing to him. His power brokers are maneuvering. Everybody all right? Yes, sir. Trump can't say nothing. Kamala can't say nothing. Biden's a sitting lame duck. He can't say nothing. Well, he can, but it don't make no sense. Are you following me? And I remember when I read the news in the week of, the heinous crime that was committed. Blowing up 2,000 persons, not knowing whether they got a baby in their lap, not knowing if babies and women and children are around, just like an act of total hatred. Like beyond that which is rational. Because you can hate someone, but you don't just indiscriminately kill people. And when you're dealing with someone who is insane like that, you got to give that problem to God. Only Allah can deal with someone who is that evil. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan one day when they were riding together, I think from the west side to the south side of Chicago in the back of a car. Yes, sir. Do you know, brother, any man in whom there is no good at all? Listen. The minister, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's representative. He was a highly learned man, always. But his response was no. That means he gave everybody the credit of being human. You missed it. He gave everybody the credit. And look how beautiful the man was. He was teaching about what the enemy done to us, that they're devils. The European, in America at that time, he was the #1 teacher of how evil the wicked were and directed his rebuke against Europeans, Caucasian Americans, and what they did to us. But when the question was asked about, do you know of any man in whom there is no good? He still saw good in the enemy, even though they had done so much wickedness to us. That's right. Think about what I'm saying. Yes, sir. Because he didn't say the American white man. That wasn't his answer. He said he can't think of nothing. That means he was of the mind that everybody was capable of reform, regardless to how wicked they've been. There's a spark of good in them that if we feed it, we can reverse the evil and produce a decent person. What a beautiful man. What a beautiful man. If you would ask Malcolm the same question, I think he would have answered it different. Because he was just tunnel vision. But the minister is a reformer. He is one whom is so magnificently made that if there's any good in you, he'll find it. Others will stop looking. You know, when you've lost something, after a certain point, you just say, "Cha, that God." You just stop looking. And if it's not that valuable to you, you stop looking quickly. Yeah? So the minister was looking for good in all. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed out a little Caucasian man walking across the street and used him as an example. And when the minister said no, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "There he goes." The minister looked at his teacher, obviously, and his teacher explained allegorically what he meant by that. It's not that there is no good in no Caucasian. That's not what he was saying. He was pointing to not someone who is devilish, who just makes mischief, but somebody at their root who cannot do good now because they're locked into the negative side of themselves. And they're descending downwards. And they cannot check their fall. Their mind is so diabolical that they cannot see the evil of their ways. They always try to justify it and make it fair seem. That's Satan. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to him that you cannot fathom the depths of Satan. So the kind of activities and behavior we see now being played out is the act of a man who has no limits to the evil in which he would do to achieve his objective. This is why he warned us and said, your only saving grace is your righteousness. Think over that. In that day, only your righteousness will sustain you. That means you can't fight Satan. That fight has already been carved out for God himself. He's like, Satan is my meat. So you go and drink some milk because you can't handle Satan. And anybody who tries, you see what happens. With all what you see them doing to people, with all the money they have, with all the influence they have, why do you think they can't do that to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan?
Listen up.
Minister's a different man. And somebody as sophisticated as them, don't you think they know his identity before us? The Quran made it very clear that they knew the identity of the Messiah before he even came into the knowledge of who he was. That's why you've heard the minister say on occasion, if I am who I think I am. That means he didn't at that time, he knew, but he weren't willing to do the I am thing. Time. But now he's in, yes, it's clear. He is in the I am phase. Because without the I am, we can't close out Satan's world. You following me?
Yes, sir.
So be mindful. Because these people have really shown everybody who thinks they're smart that you're not smart at all. The enemy has thought about your next step before you have even come into that knowledge. And you and I cannot outdo him in evil. That's the lesson. When you think you're smart, I gotta move, you know. This man got moved and he's in jail. I'm gonna do the same thing but smarter. Okay. He got caught selling drugs this way. Now all of a sudden, I'm still gonna sell drugs, but I'm smarter than the man who's in jail now. Do you really think so? And even if you was, don't you know for every brother or sister who's doing something wrong, there's someone in his crew who works for the enemy? And you know your girlfriend, brother, she works for the enemy. Don't go home and kill nobody. I meant your girlfriend, your mobile phone. Ouch. We have a greater love affair with the phone than anybody who is got spirit in them. Because the phone has spirit, some of us think, and they call it electricity. As long as it's charged, it has spirit. We think the microphone ain't on when we turn it off or when we're not using it. We think the camera's off because the screen is blank. I know, family. See, the Islamic world should have learnt from the time that the Israelis and Mossad infiltrated Syria, I think it was, and were so powerful that the defense minister in Syria was a Mossad agent. Yes. Imagine your minister of defense is Israeli, and you think he's one of the brothers. That's why in many of these countries, you have the rulers as a monarchy, because they so cannot trust anybody. I've got to groom a son. I've got to groom a daughter. You following me? So even those who are better qualified cannot get into the position because of the fear of infiltration. So the enemy now works on the family. Huh? Think about this. The enemy works on the family. So you think that's your son. You think that's your daughter. But somebody else is working on them when they're out of your eye shot. You following me? Yes. Man, I haven't said anything I prepared all this time. But we wanted to speak about the importance of dissatisfaction. But I wanted to close with this, because the reason why I mentioned all of that was because I received a document in the week that highlights Israeli ethnic weapons. And it is reputed that Israel is reportedly developing a biological weapon that would harm Arabs while leaving Jews unaffected. Wow. According to a report in the London Sunday Times, the report citing Israel military and Western intelligence sources say that scientists are trying to identify distinctive genes carried by Arabs to create a genetically modified bacteria or virus called the ethnobomb. Now, if those people are so alike, the Jews and the Arabs, and they're looking for a gene or some form of distinctive element that they can target exclusively, what do you think they've been doing to us as black people all this time, who are the diametric opposite to them? Biological warfare has been the order of the day in our community ever since our ancestors' feet have trod on Western soil. What do you think Ebola and all of these diseases in Africa is all about? It's biological warfare that we've been fighting all the days of our lives. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan has apprised us of this for decades of time. I went into a convenience shop in the area in which I live. And when I just observed everything in the fridge, it was just chemical warfare. All the drinks, all these different colors. Look at the food, even down to the bun. Hardo bread. Turkish man selling us hardo bread. White flour that's designed to just block your arteries. I'm like, how can he eat it? He claims to be a Muslim and got pork in the fridge. He's got every alcohol that you can find. Every tonic the black man want, ton punnet lung, liquor tonic in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uncover them. Go ahead.
In the local convenience store. And then he has the audacity that if you look high enough, you find a little surah of the Quran in the corner of the building. Just look carefully. It's there. Everybody makes merchandise off of us as a people. Are you following me? Everybody makes merchandise off of us. And everybody is feeding us the deadly foods, the deadly drinks. And we just so happily go and purchase these things. And we never knew that these shops in our communities didn't just sell us, poisonous drinks, poisonous foods, and why they would be open at 3 o'clock in the morning. 24-hour shops. I'm like, you don't make enough money. And ain't no one in need of nothing on a weekday at 4 o'clock in the morning. Anybody who don't have what they need at that time don't deserve to have it. It can wait till the morning. Can you imagine someone saying, I need a pint of milk, love, at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why are you drinking tea at 3 o'clock in the morning, sir? Why are you having cereal at 3 o'clock in the morning, sir? It makes no sense. It can wait until after Fajr time, at least. And some of us are so bad, you send the woman out to the shop to go and get it. But what do junkies need at 3 o'clock in the morning? You know, it was like when we were, well, not we, I ain't going to say we. But some of us, when we were younger and we used to experiment with things, after you engage in drugs, you get hungry. They call it the munchies. You ain't dealing with a brother who don't know what you're going through. You would munch, and your mouth would move at 100 miles an hour. You eat so fast, you didn't even taste what you were eating. Because it helps to bring down your buzz, right?
It's true.
Those of you who haven't tried it, don't. Don't. You're blessed. You're blessed. You're blessed. That's why you have to have that Buju tune. That you're blessed. Hello, you're blessed. Hello, you're blessed. You say you're blessed. He says it about 100 times in 3 minutes. That's good for us to hear. That we're blessed. Are you following me? And be reminded and ingrain that in your head. So you go amongst some of these Caribbeans, oh, you're the brother, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, man. Blessed. That's a good answer to a question, how are you? I'm blessed. Because the most of us say, you know, I'm okay. Not bad. Well, you certainly ain't damn good. Not bad. That means when someone says they're not bad, you know, they've resisted the urge. Which is good because you're surrounded by temptation. So if you haven't succumbed for 10 minutes, it's not bad. Real talk. Real words that have real meaning. So our communities are laced with these places. And then when I was younger, I used to always think, how can these corner shops be everywhere? How can you make money out of selling just newspapers? Ain't no money in that. How can you make money just from selling free plantains for £1? There ain't no money in that. Green banana, there ain't no money in that. Little spices, there ain't no money in that. So when our people used to say, boy, the Indian, them selling our food to us, you know, I'm like, do you really want to get up in the morning to go and buy plantain to make 20 pence on? Let them sell it. There's bigger business we can do. But that really wasn't what was happening. No. There was some heroin in the back that you didn't know nothing about. There was some cocaine in the back that you didn't know nothing about. But they weren't the face of drug dealing. You were. The man and woman on the corner who's in the bookie shop is the face of drug dealing, not the person who has a respectable business. So they can mask being the supplier. And the focus is on the consumer. You following me? And you can tell we're so disconnected from being the authors of such, just by the way in which all of the dealers just dress the same. Everybody's uniform is JD Sports, right? Now, you can't wear a JD Sports tracksuit and a Louis Vuitton bag. It doesn't work. That's a bad combination. I'm going to get out of here. I'm done. Like, it's just, You fired me off. If you had spoken about something different, I would have been different today. And we're not loving enough to teach our people that uniform is a uniform for arrest. That is a uniform for monitoring. They call it surveillance sophisticatedly. So when you see your young children starting to move like that, like you don't need a pair of Air Force, family. You can wear another form of trainers. You following me? And you can't be a 50-year-old man on your day off from work and then you go and put on your JD Sports tracksuit. If you... You look so damn ridiculous. I had a brother roll up to my house one day when I was there for a while, and he had on one of them. I like, brother, man, like you see me, like as I'm trying to be the student minister in this area. I can actually say to some of us, do as you see me do. You following me? Go as you see me go. Because if we leave you to your devices, you'll have jogging pants with a little cuff at the bottom. We don't do crunchy cuff. At no time, not even at home when we got nothing to do and we're just watching at no time, no one in this life is supposed to see you dressed like that. Are you following me? You know, ain't even hearing me. It better not happen again. I see you going up to my door in my ring on my phone with crunch button. No, brother. See, your young people in your community got to know you and them ain't the same. You understand? You understand? You got to let them know big man from youngster. Everything about you has to be mature. The way how you cut your hair, the clothing you wear, the way how you walk, the way how you talk. Everything about you's got to be different from a road man, from a road woman. We don't do road. We don't do road. We don't do road. Our work is to elevate our people's mind, reach them where they are, speak their language, but raise them. Raise them. The real drug dealers own airlines. They own mansions in the countryside. They're politicians. Those are the real drug dealers. You following me? But they're going to bang you up in jail because you're unsophisticated. And then you can't bring that unsophisticated mindset into God's kingdom. You have to be retrained like all of us was. That's why the Honorable Louis Farrakhan took us out of road clothes and put us in the clothes of the rulers of this world. Not that we will rule this world dressed like this, but as a starting point, at least have the image and the likeness and the presentation of a ruler. Are you hearing me? Let's start there. The enemy pull you over in your car for no good reason, and you're in there in a white shirt and a tie and a jacket hung up in the back or on. He will approach you different. Because he don't know who you are, except he knows who you are. They know who I am in my car. For real, real, real. Why do they know you, Hakeem? Because I fight them all the time. Sophisticatedly. Not scrap with them. Proper fight for my Islam. For my teacher's name, his good name.
Yes, sir.
For my ancestral, family's legacy. We fight them. You're not going to disrespect the name of the Nation of Islam whilst I'm around. No, that name has done too much good for black people. So just to close, what's been happening in the world is designed to wake us up. Because as Muslims, you can start sleeping on your posts and start having your damn, Deliveroo app. You're a target. You don't let no one deliver no food to your house anymore. Did I say anymore? That should have ended last week with what happened in Lebanon. Should wake you up. Pizza lovers. Is it Domino? You know what you like when you want to watch Top Boy? You want a little something, something. And you're too lazy to go out and get it. Because you're modern Muslim. You're a modern Christian. You're not the onward Christian who's a soldier. You're the downward Christian. Not soldier. Not even that. Couch potato. Thank you. Because you're going to feed your head poison and then eat poison from a poisoner on a bike. Because you think about your value. If you're with the Messiah, how much more valuable are you for extermination than someone who's ignorant trying to fight for a misunderstanding of Islam? You represent the man who comes at the end of Satan's world.
Yes, sir.
See, what we're being shown in the Middle East is everybody who claims to know and want to teach Islam don't have no backing from Allah. Show me Allah's backing in that part of the world where you have to live in a secret location and give messages to your soldiers, and you can't come up from under your bunker and pray to Allah to protect you. You're not hearing me. If Allah is the protecting friend, think it's Al-Muhayminun. If he's the protector, Wali, but Muhayminun, I think, is also one who protects. Look it up for me quick. We got Google. Everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
Our leader don't hide.
No, sir.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yes, sir.
The man who they want to say is this, that, and the other, he don't hide.
No, sir.
The man who's letting you know who Satan is, he don't hide.
No, sir.
You following me? He don't go into meetings with men surrounding him with machine guns.
No, sir.
Allah is sufficient for him.
That's right.
He has a God who he is
Listen.
protecting him, who is so powerful.
Listen.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
Yes, sir, I thought I was. Good. He has a God who has soldiers with him, who is so powerful that just like the plans of those in Lebanon were read before they could even execute their plans, Allah has read the enemy's plan over 15,000 years ago. Ain't got time to break it down. But he's thoughts were heard over 15,000 years ago and recorded and revealed to Muhammad ibn Abdullah 1,400 years ago. But before Muhammad ibn Abdullah received it, that information was in a vault, locked away until it was time for it to be revealed. That's why he was given what's called a scripture. A script, a part of a bigger writing. You go and you cast John Travolta to play a role in a leading film, you give him his script. He don't need to know the whole film. He's got to focus on his part. The prophets were given their part of a history that spanned 25,000 years. That was written in advance. That's why they call prophets. Because they tell you about things that's going to happen long after they're physically dead and gone. So you can't worship them when they're dead and gone. Because they spoke about people who would be born at a later date who would execute what they prophesied. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The most salient person that all of the prophets prophesied about, particularly in Islam, is Al-Mahdi and Al-Masih. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was not Masih or Mahdi. So don't allow people who sponsor boxing to tell you the line of divine. You following me? Anyway, I ain't even got no time, man. But it's just important that we appreciate the power that is on scene today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the book of Isaiah 14:16, it reads, "They that see thee of the enemy shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? That did shake kingdoms?" You see the kingdoms being shaken. "That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof." You see them being destroyed, don't you?
Yes, sir.
"That opened not the house of his prisons." Wow. This ain't talking about the time of Isaiah. This is speaking about today. It goes on to say, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. Listen to Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
"That thou should not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people.
Yes,
The seed of the evildoers shall never be renewed." That means the God of this time is wiping out bloodlines. And why do you think the whole gay movement is taking root? That destroys bloodlines. That brings an end to it.
Listen up.
So the God goes on to say, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Think about this. So when you look at our mad behavior, is it just leading us to the end of our bloodline?
Good question.
Think about it. When we don't care about our actions and how it reflects on our children and the community, you're ending your bloodline. Look how many children, particularly our sons, follow in the footsteps of their father. When you don't follow in the footsteps of your father who has lost the way, you're a blessed man or woman. Because our sisters are left unprotected when their fathers fall victim to the vices of this world. Because the dad is the one they've got to hold up to, to maintain their status. And when you ain't got a dad as a young person who you can say, big man, your dad ain't done nothing, then you can't boast when everybody else is boasting. And that's not a nice feeling. Are you hearing me? When your father don't have no reputation of good. You open up yourself, or he's opened you up to be disrespected. Because people will judge you by him. Are you hearing me? Your dad who abandoned your mom. Like, when you were a baby, you can get divorced now. But you should do that at least when the children are in their late teens. Wait for them to get strong in their 20s, and do it respectfully. But when children are young and you're breaking up a family, that has to be hard. Because you're going to take your bit, she's going to take her bit. There's going to be arguments in front of the children because everybody lives on top of each other. So that's going to be hard for everybody. But when everybody's grown, you can come to an amicable decision whilst the children are at university. Everybody all right? Yes, or whilst they've started their own business. Mum and daddy was married for 30 years, 25 years, 20 years. That's decent. I'm not advocating that you don't stay the journey. I'm just saying that once you've got responsibilities, you've got to take the responsibility to its logical conclusion. And you're locked in. Once you start having these babies, you're locked in. You can't be a teenager anymore. Even if you had the child as a teenager, you've got to become big man now. Big man now. Big man things. Yes? Like overnight almost. When she says she's pregnant, big man was just born. Real talk. You got to start buying books, How to Be a Man. Like crash course, How to Be Man. You got 9 months to learn how to be a man. Like that's the gear that you have to kick in. And you got to get in that gear for the next 20 plus years. At least. She drives you mad now? Okay. Maybe I drive her mad, so she's driving me mad. So if I stop driving her mad, then maybe she'll stop driving me mad, and maybe we can have some peace. Science. Makes sense. What am I doing to drive you mad? Well, list. And then there's a counter list. And we've decided before we go in the meeting for discussion, we're not going to get angry at each other. And if we do, we're going to table this discussion and come back another time. Yeah? What we need. But when you don't do a thorough assessment, as we generally don't, then we're not friends. And then we do each other so much bad that we start to dislike each other. And once dislike comes in, that's a whole different animal. Because the person don't have the same appeal to you anymore. They don't make you feel good when you see them. Do you understand? That's a rocky road, Chief. And when someone don't make you feel good, you got to have a conversation to see if you can put life back where death has now taken over. Do you understand? There got to be a willingness there. Because when you start losing that electricity, that attractive energy, then death has set in. You start now dressing, sister, for your next man. And you start now flossing now for your next woman. And become very, what they call that word? What you say? you start to become very flirtatious because you're putting out the feelers. Because before you had your force field around you, you wouldn't, if someone smiled, you would maybe smile and lower your gaze and boom. But now you're keeping your stare for an extra 5 seconds. You don't ordinarily wear glasses. And all of a sudden you got glasses. I need to see sharp. All of a sudden a man start wearing glasses. Nothing wrong with his eyes. He wants to now look into your soul. Gone beyond the surface. So look, just to close, got to say something on dissatisfaction. So the origin, God, this is such a good lecture I prepared for. I'm gonna have to just hang it up and come back next week. But just give you a trailer. The origin of dissatisfaction, positively, started, as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has taught us, with the self-creation of Allah, God Himself. So dissatisfaction was never designed to be negative. Because if it starts with Allah, then it's positive. He was dissatisfied with his environment, so he went to war against it to make it more conducive to the life that he created within himself. So his dissatisfaction wasn't a destructive dissatisfaction, it was a constructive, creative dissatisfaction. Ours is the opposite. Our dissatisfaction leads to self-destruction and the destruction of others. Are you following me? Dissatisfaction in the negative sense caused us to have the moon. 66 trillion years ago. One of our dissatisfied scientists. We ain't got time. We'll talk about it next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next week, we'll talk about dissatisfaction, how it caused one of our brothers, Yaqub, to be the author of race 6,000 years ago.
Imagine that.
There was no races on our planet prior to 6,000 years ago and change.
That's right.
But Yaqub was dissatisfied with righteousness.
Nothing, man.
Think about that. He was dissatisfied with an environment of peace and harmony. His vibe was, this is too peaceful. This is too harmonious. And like sometimes you have people go to parties, everybody enjoying themselves. They want to now mash up everybody else's enjoyment. People at carnival enjoying themselves, they want to run through the crowd. Yaqub. Yaqub, in full effect, still in us. Don't like peace. We were at the boxing yesterday. I was looking at some young brothers from the Indian community. And some of them so much wanted to be us. I'm looking at the way this man's walking. I know you people don't walk like that. All these signs in the taking of the picture, you don't do that. That's us. And as I look around, everybody is trying to be the worst part of us. You following? Everybody. So I say to us, we are in this day and time thoroughly dissatisfied. And we are now dissatisfied, not with righteousness, but with the evil of Satan's world.
That's right. That's right.
So change is inevitable. Okay? So I'm going to leave it like that because we're at 1 o'clock. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the world. How is everybody?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Good. In here is super hot, isn't it? Why didn't you say something? I thought it was just me. So can we crack the door then and get some air in? Praise be to Allah. I hope I said something that positively affected all of us. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of all the world. And get back home until 2 o'clock this morning and change. Because you know when you go to these places, 96,000 people, you ain't going nowhere fast. So even though you might be in the VIP section, if you haven't got a little helicopter, you know VIP. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of all the world. I hope you learned something from what we said. I tried to give you as many principles as I could because it's so important that we just do not become hearers of the word, but learn how we can practically apply it. As I said, as I looked around and saw 96,000 persons in an arena to watch people punch each other, I saw the power of advertising. Advertising is an art that Satan has mastered. Because they can kill people and make it fair seeming.
That's right. That's right.
You following me? And not lose public opinion or you lose public support. They don't lose it because they counter or they cover their evil with such nobility that they have mastered the art. And we've got to learn to use the platforms that are at our disposal for righteous, positive ends. Are you with me? Because the enemy, dear family, they are all around us. Like, you can hardly trust anybody today. And if you have a conversation with some of us, like, we try to justify so much madness that does not lead to a good outcome for us as individuals. So we have to be careful how we use our brains. Because living in the enemy's world, he has taught us how to think in reverse and be happy with it. And this is why your mind can tell you, even at nighttime or first thing in the morning, that I'm too tired to pray. I'm too late to pray. Because if I pray, I'm going to be later.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
But you might be dead if you don't pray. Being late may have saved your life. Because if you moved at the time that you were going to move without securing your relationship with the God by communicating with him, then something might have been waiting that you ran straight into. Always put Allah first. Do your best. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing is not our telephone that we wake up. Don't wake up your phone. Wake up your spirit.
That's right.
Make sure it's still there. You want to, yeah. No, dear family, wake up the spirit. And once you've thanked God for another day to do better, then you can turn on your phone. And then you can look at some of your work and how you're going to rid yourself of some of the contacts in your phone. Everybody all right? You got to learn how to use block. Got to learn how to use it. It's a great tool. It leads to a place where there are gardens wherein rivers flow. Peace and tranquility. Once you get certain people out your ear and their images out of your eyes and they no longer exist, then you won't even speak about them anymore. Because there's no attention to their existence. You following me? And you're regaining back your focus. You should only keep those in your purview who's helping you to get to the end. If someone ain't adding to you, they're taking away. And you and I must be about the adders, the multipliers. Are you with me? As opposed to those who have no influence. I got a man in my phone, regardless to what issue I have. If I phone him, he can help me. Like a Superman. Real talk. You need a plumber, he'll get you one. Electric, he'll get you one. Gardener, he'll get you one. And everybody who he sends is quality. And cheap. You don't want to have just people who can deliver nonsense to your door in your phone and keep you in madness. You following me? Keep some good people in your phone. Yes? And try to wean off of it as much as we can. Scrolling is dangerous, family. You following me? Start scrolling and look at the time you started, and then look at the time you break yourself away from it. These guys are scientists of evil. Do you know that? They are masterful. I'm not starting again. But they are masterful. And inshallah, next week, we want to talk about what we want to talk about. Yes? Yeah. But let's just take charge of our lives and just strive for something better than we've had. Because this satisfaction must lead to a change. You following me? And when life becomes monotonous, then it's a negative current that you and I have to redirect. All right? Change is good for the better. Change is good for the better. But change for change's sake is not necessarily productive. All right? And like sometimes you think, but anyway, let me leave that alone. May Allah bless us, family. Thank you very much. Allahu Akbar. Let's thank all of the believers who traveled to Birmingham yesterday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was on my way down there. We left in the car to go, and I thought maybe 2 hours, and it said 3.5 hours. So I was going to be late. We tried to jump on the train, impossible. We tried everything. And then I realized that, and I was speaking to Sister Sylvina, the student regional secretary, and I said, that's the reason why I'm having trouble going. Because you're supposed to coordinate. Because we moved her from the protocol to the secretarial department, I forgot some of her skills and brilliance. I'm like, what am I doing even thinking of coming to Birmingham and you're there? Like, that's embarrassing for me. Because she's so magnificent. Like, come on, Hakeem, wakey, brother. Like, wasn't she magnificent?
Yes, sir.
She's She's a giant. And she works in the enemy's educational system. So she knows it. So we thank Allah for all who attended. And we thank Allah, for those of you who spoke today. And we thank Allah for our girls' class that we're having and building here. And we thank Allah for the brothers who will have the brothers' class, hopefully, inshallah, next week or very soon. Okay? So with that said, I did want to speak to us believers, but can we do it next Sunday for our Super Sunday at the end of the month? Yes, sir. Yeah? Yes. Got to make it, though. All right? Yes, and we do Super Sunday. And we can speak about some things that we need to discuss. We have our family from, is it North Carolina? North Carolina. Let's give our brother and our sisters a big round of applause. Take a stand, brother. Brother Alfred. And his wife and daughter. Yes. And is someone studying in London? Yes. Okay. Like everybody's coming to London to study nowadays. All right. You see what Idris Elba can do to the black woman? But anyway, no, I'm only playing. But let's give them a big round of applause. Brother Alfred, when I was doing my Dianetics course, we were twins. So we audited together in Los Angeles. Praise be to Allah. I hope I done a good job. Because when you're qualified, they started to feed you all of these, And we started doing these auditing, and by Allah's grace, I think brother was one of my first too. And by Allah's grace, he's still here. Thank you, brother. Wa alayhi salam. Thank you. So we have two students sitting beside each other now. Praise be to Allah. So praise be to Allah. Allahu Akbar. So those of you rushing to America, you better wonder why the Americans are rushing to Europe. Because you see, when you're in the U.S. and you've been so blessed to hear the voice of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan or be programmed, the world is your oyster. That's why he teaches us in the student enrollment. Or he asks the question, but he states the fact, or he does ask the question, what is the total area of the land and water of the planet Earth? He didn't just limit it to North America. He gave us the global numbers. So you have to get up out of the US, and we have to get up out of the UK, and we have to become like the Mahdi was and is, a great traveler. Yes, a great traveler. So traveling is so important. You two look like twins, sister. What's going on? Poor us, brother. But yeah. Oh, praise be to Allah. But yes, thank you, believers. Thank you for coming and taking the time for being with us this wonderful Sunday evening. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Are there any other announcements, family? No announcements? Okay, well, thank you. With that said, thank you. And we're going to end. Anybody visiting with us for the first time, can I see your wonderful black hands? My brother, let's give him a big round of applause. Praise be to Allah. Brother promised me at some point he was going to come. And we were on a course together. This was one of my brothers who how long were we on that course for, brother? A month. We were in a sauna together and down at the Church of Scientology doing the Purif together. And that was a beautiful experience. I think it was more than a month, wasn't it? Months, praise be to Allah. But that was a blessing. We were together. So we were together at the Purif in London. And we had a great time learning, coming into a greater knowledge of ourselves. When the minister introduced us to our family down there, he done a great thing for us. And it was to help us to really understand ourselves and work with the technical aspects of our mindset. Because the brain is not You know, it's not this thing that we can't master. You know, it's a receiving and a transmitting station that after being in a world like this needs to be recalibrated. And Allah gave Mr. Hubbard something for us. Praise be to Allah. And a Muslim is one, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, he is one and she is one who seeks knowledge from the cradle to the grave. And he seeks knowledge from Arabia all the way to China. A Muslim is a student for life and a student of the world. And anything that is true is the possession of a Muslim. If it's truth, it belongs to you. Regardless of the name or what the person who has it in their possession calls themselves. It doesn't mean you can't learn from a Hindu. Doesn't mean you can't learn from a Christian. Doesn't mean you can't learn from a Jew. Doesn't mean you can't learn from somebody who calls themselves an atheist. Doesn't mean you can't learn something from an ant. You can even learn something from the sly fox. How to kill him. Most hateful creature in London, the fox. And this is why many of us as Muslims, dear family, we only read the Quran and we don't read the Bible, where the tenets of Islam states that we must believe in all of the scriptures that were revealed. Why? Because our job is amongst all people. And if you don't know what people know, how can you be effective in trying to share with them what you know? Yes? So the Muslim has to be somebody who nowadays we must get back to carrying books. Because these devices blow up. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
We got to get back to books. I was going to order a new iPhone, and after I saw what happened, I said, let me go to the shop and go and pick it up here, sir. Real talk. We were ordering one last week Sunday, and now I'm blessed that I can wait and then just spontaneously drive to Apple in Oxford and go and pick up one without discussing it on the phone when the time is right. So please, let us try our best to keep our plans off of the phone. Yes? Keep our life off of the phone and try and curb our memory quantity on the phone. Because if we take stuff off of it, we don't need so many terabytes. We were talking to somebody once and they were telling us they don't use the cloud at all. Nor do they hand in their phones when they want to upgrade. When they're finished with one device, they drive over it with a car and throw it in the sea. Because they were sharing with us, there's no such thing about wiping your information from a phone. They made it with the ability to retrieve it. There's no such thing as, do you know that when you put your information on a cloud, that your information is owned by Apple? That's the terms and the conditions that we didn't read. You didn't know that? When it goes to the cloud, it now belongs to them. And they give you access to your information. So we got to get away from these things. Yeah?
Yes.
And as of today, go and do some deleting later. And turn off the cloud. As of now. You say, I might lose all my information. Get yourself some pen and paper. Yeah? And write something down or stop eating all of that foolish food so we can remember our name. And never again will our children have to say, it's my birthday today, Daddy. Oh, sugar. I forgot. It's our anniversary. Oh, God, I forgot. So if you're going to do things, get married on your birthday. You won't forget. So thank you, family. Thank you. So thank you for coming, Brother Oscar. Let's give him a big round of applause. And if there's any of you visiting with us who believe what you've heard to be good and true, and you want to be a part of the Nation of Islam, please see us at the end and we will give you that information. All right? Thank you. With that said, if we can all rise to our feet, we're going to end in prayer. So assume a position of prayer you feel comfortable. Attention prayer. In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the most merciful, all holy praises are due to thee, O Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the Beneficent, the most merciful, the sole master of this day of judgment and resurrection in which we now live. To thee alone, Allah, do we serve, to thee alone do we beseech for thine aid. O Allah, guide us on the straight path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not the path of those upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor those who go astray, especially after hearing and believing in thy teachings. Ameen. Amen. Thank you. Have a good evening and a blessed start to your week. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Is it just that?